Hi there, welcome to I Alone Fly Tarot. I'm going to do a tarot card reading for Virgo energy. And we're going to get out the cards and I'm going to shuffle the Intuit deck to see what it wants to add to the story. We'll read what's going on in the story and we're going to read it from a couple different perspectives because people harness their Virgo energy differently and how they will harness this energy will be different. What's going on in their life will be different. The decisions they make will be different. High five Virgos, people who have learned a lot of lessons in life, and they've been enlightened to the truth that love is the answer. And so when they make decisions in their life, it's letting love and intuition guide the decisions that they've made. Other people might not have learned to listen to their intuition, ignore their intuition, have ignored learning some lessons in life, keep thinking they know the answer, and they could make decisions more out of fear or insecurity or pride or ego or selfishness or greed, and how they're moving forward in this energy will be different. So we all tap into Virgo energy. Are you someone who is willing to learn lessons in life? Do you know some other people who seem to be a little prideful and stubborn and think they don't have any lessons to learn? And even some of those lessons are to love ourselves. There's people in the world that haven't learned to love themselves, and, that can take, like everything else, 30, 40 years of your life. Are you willing to realize that you shouldn't be immature and prideful and bossy and controlling and manipulative? Some people still think that's the way to go about things. So listen to your intuition about where you might be in the story. Listen to your intuition about where some other people might be in the story. Because if you harness high vibe Virgo energy, regardless of what zodiac sun sign you are, you'd probably like to hang out with people who harness high vibe Virgo energy. So for the Intuit deck, whoops, maybe you think somebody, male or female, is acting like a dick. Anyway, we have the renovation card. Everybody can try to make it look like they've moved on, they've changed. Some people really have. Some people are just doing things to make it look like that. Like they change jobs, they get in a new relationship, but they're really the same person underneath the surface that they were before. But they try to make it look like, oh no, I've really changed. I'm not the same person, And then we have this card not showing itself. Be willing to look in the proverbial mirror regularly and embrace the light and the dark. And that's what some people haven't done, but they're trying to make it look like they've done that. Other people have done that. And the reason these came out is because of burdens, which of course reminds me of the Ten of Wands and Tarot, which is Sagittarius energy. High vibe Sagittarius energy is being motivated and inspired to higher learning and education, and it takes a lot of work and effort. I am not just going to do something superficial or out of immaturity or ego. I'm really going to do the work to learn the lesson I was meant to learn so I can close out this phase and cycle of my life and way of living my life this way. I want to go to the next phase of life. Other people are overwhelmed, maybe also, but instead of really doing the work, they think the answer is to do something just to feel better. And they end up finding out later that wasn't the answer. Okay. I also look at this card as the overarching reason for the reading, which is the Eight of Swords, which is Gemini energy. Gemini has to do with our dualistic nature and what our truth is at a core foundational level. Do we have hope and faith and belief in ourselves and in love? Or do we disregard that and make our life more about indulging ourselves, indulging in the world, thinking we just have the things of the world to work with, but really we were given our intuitive, creative, hopeful, believing nature. We could work with that, but some people are like, no, 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 no. I got to work with these things of the world. That's all I have to work with. That's the most important thing. And so they kind of live more from their mind than their heart. And other people are focused on truth and love and justice. And, our intuition was given to us as a gift Just like we have our emotions and our creativity and our intellect and our body, these were all gifts given to us to help us manifest what we want to manifest in the world. And our intuition was given to us as a gift. It's not yapping in our ear all the time, but sometimes it's kind of like we feel like we hear it loud and clear. Like if we're going to do something that we shouldn't be doing, probably, and that's when our intuition's like, you shouldn't do this. This is a bad idea. You should go home. But a lot of times we go do it anyway because we got these lessons to learn in life. And anyway, we'll see if it pops up more in the story here. Okay, what's going on in Virgo energy that could affect all of us in our Virgo energy? We have a card not showing itself, and the reason it came out is because of the Hierophant. So, the Hierophant can represent all these institutions of the world, work, business, family, friendships, marriages, but it also represents our philosophy of life, and it is kind of like, in tarot we have the pages, the knights, the kings, the queens, the emperor, the empress, the high priestess, and the Hierophant. Based on us debating within ourselves, in our free will, what our truth is, the Hierophant is like the Supreme Court in our own head. This is what I have decided is just and fair. We meet all these people in the world. Some of them look and present themselves as very stable, grounded, loving, nurturing, emotionally mature people. Sometimes that's just the facade they present in the world. I mean, they might have a lot of traits and characteristics or whatever that make them quite attractive and that people would want to be in a relationship with them. They seem stable. They are attractive. They got social clout. They have charm. They got money, whatever it is. But the thing is, everybody can harness this energy differently. And that's what we don't know about people, because people can present themselves any way they want to in the world. And until we get to know them, we don't really know the truth of their philosophy of life that drives the decisions. Am I prideful? Am I egotistical? Am I more about myself? Am I immature and I just can hide that, Am I driven and motivated by love and truth and justice and fairness? The Six of Pentacles. The Six of Pentacles is Taurus energy also. But shadowy Taurus energy is a more transactional type relationship. Well, I'll give you this and you give me that. Because I have these things and you have those things, we should be friends. This would benefit me. This would be good for my image or my status. The bad thing about shadowy Taurus energy in a relationship, it's this kind of this philosophy that shadowy would be they're more aligned with these things of the world. But it could be that if I have those things that you want, whether I'm attractive, I have social clout, I've got money, I've got status, I've got image, they think, well, whoever, if both types of people, two people meet each other and they both have that philosophy of life, whoever has what's deemed as more, and it would be kind of unspoken, that's the person who kind of has more power and influence in the relationship. So if someone's loving and one person's got money, the person who has money might think, well, what I have is more important than what you bring to the table. And so I should be deferred to. And it's more about me than you. And that's a more shadowy Taurus relationship. Who has more of what someone else wants, and if that person seems to have more of what someone or they deem as valuable, they can get in relationships with people. Other people don't agree with that philosophy, but until we kind of exchange resources with them, the Pentacles can talk about investing time, energy, and effort with them, and being in workplaces, being in relationships with them, that we find out the truth. Are they really someone who harnesses high vibe Taurus energy? where it is about doing equal give and take, and it's out of love and respect and treating other people the way you like to be treated. And some people are like, well, no, I have more of a position of authority, therefore I should be able to be kind of rude or dismissive or whatever. Well, you know, the shadowy people eventually come to realize people who harness high vibe Taurus energy don't want to exchange resources with them anymore. I don't want to be your friend. I don't want to date you anymore. I don't like working with you. I want to leave because, you know, Virgo energy is about doing this work within ourselves, and those ideas that we have and those conclusions we come to, Taurus gives those, or Virgo kind of gives those things to our Taurus philosophy. And some people don't want to do equal give and take. They have a stubborn, fixed way of viewing life. I refuse to budge. Things might keep not working out the way I want, but I refuse to acknowledge that truth. I will not do more equal give and take in a relationship. It has to be where I am the deferred to person in some way, even if it's subtle. I don't do equal give and take. This is not like a democracy, even though I'm in a relationship or a marriage with you. I am the most important person, you know? And because of that, some people are in relationships with people, they're hiding. It's really more transactional. Other people are in relationships. The more shadowy people don't get, it is equal give and take, but they just don't get it because you know, people who do love can look at someone else and you think, oh, they do love. No, you don't get it. They don't do love, really. And the people who are kind of in a more shadowy relationship look at loving people and they don't kind of understand why their dynamic seems different because they just don't get the concept about it's about love and you treat other people the way you like to be treated. And they're like, what? What? No, we do that. It's like, no, you don't do that. And so some people aren't exchanging resources with certain people. You're not exchanging resources, time, energy, and effort with certain people. You have your reasons. Other people aren't exchanging resources with you because they have their reasons. If you're high vibe, other people are already in a high vibe relationship, so they're not going to exchange resources with you. Why would they do that? Other people, they might know you're a high vibe person. You do walk the talk and treat people with love and respect. And, you know, you could maybe not understand why those people don't want to exchange resources with you because they know their truth and they don't want to be in that type of relationship. Shadowy more energy is I want to present myself as a just and fair and truthful and loving and nurturing person, but that's just how I present myself. Really, shadowy energy is I try to manipulate people or control people, use these things that I have to try to get them to stay in a relationship with me. And if they can't manipulate you or tempt you to stay in a relationship with them for those more superficial reasons, then they're going to go try to find somebody who they think they can. And then we have the Tower card. And the reason that came out is because of the Knight of Swords. The Tower is that seeing the truth of a foundation. And the Knight of Swords is, this is my truth. This is how I view life. This is what drives and motivates me. High vibe people have already, if they haven't seen the truth, we've all probably seen the truth about some people in our life. And with some of those people, we're not exchanging time, energy, and effort with them anymore. And, you know, not communicating with them anymore. And we've detached from that foundation. Some other people could just be going through that. Some people where people are in a mismatched relationship. One person does want to do more equal give and take, and they've been in a workplace friendship or relationship, but they are kind of more mismatched in their philosophy of life, those people could be experiencing a tower moment right now as people, because the tower would be like the universe trying to show people you view life differently. What drives and motivates you is different than what drives and motivates them. You are not operating and building from the same foundation. You're either building a foundation on truth and love and hope and faith and belief in yourself and in your dreams, or you're kind of building it more on a person being more about themselves or indulgence or ego or image or the world. And some people are just now kind of seeing with some of the people they're in a relationship with that it is a mismatched relationship. And they could also be seeing the truth of who in their life does seem to be more on the same page as them, or people around them, even if they're not people they're exchanging resources with. I think that person seems to be more on the same page as me than these people that I might have been hanging out with, you know. So the truth is being revealed. And, people want, when people kind of, the Knight of Swords can be kind of defensive energy. We get in relationships and we think a dream is going to come into reality. Again, what is our truth? Is it going to be love, or is it living more from our mind than our heart? And we get in these kind of, if it's a more mismatched relationship, but we didn't know it, and then we move forward in it, it's like, wait a minute, your truth, I'm starting to see that your truth is, and then we have the Queen of Swords. We have a lot of air sign energy here. Do we get caught up in our head and our fear and our insecurity and our defensive nature? Try to confuse people about the truth of who we are? Or are we speaking the truth, having a dream, believing in love? And sometimes we see as we go by that, some of the people in our life, that isn't how they view life. They are defensive to love. The Queen of Swords, the queens can just talk about how we think and feel. The masculine energies can represent how we're presenting ourselves in the world and the action that we're taking in the world. Some people, we've all been betrayed. That's what the Queen of Swords can talk about. And some people haven't worked through like past pain and heartbreak and their fears and their insecurities about trusting other people and being loving and just and fair with other people. And they keep staying defensive. Other people have been betrayed by people, have been hurt by people, but they didn't want to stay feeling defensive to other people. I just need to see the truth of people's foundations. That's like the lesson that some people have incorporated into their philosophy of life. It's not that I have to be afraid of love. I've just learned I need to see the truth of people's foundations that they operate from. And I need to stay focused on the future and not wanting to repeat a pattern of the past. Other people are kind of exactly the opposite. This is what I defend, and I'm defensive to moving forward in life differently. I've been hurt. I'm not moving forward in love. I'm going to defend my philosophy that I have fear and insecurity and I have given up on love. Well, those people are going to keep staying betrayed and defensive. Not everyone's the same, right? And some people, though, are unstable, bossy, controlling, defensive, and they're looking for someone who will indulge them being in that energy in a relationship. If I'm immature, if I'm bossy, if I'm defensive, I need to find someone who indulges me in that way. And there's some people that have already turned their back to those people. You do you, go find someone else, but I'm moving on. you know, and they'll have other people in their life that are willing to defend them and living their life that way, because that's maybe how they view life too. Teach their own. We just need to see the truth of what drives and motivates people. What is their truth? So next, after the Tower, we have the Queen of Wands. Again, about how people think and feel. Queen of Wands, I view it as Leo energy. High vibe Leo is being illuminated to the truth. They've done this work. They've learned these lessons. They've offered love to themselves. They've offered themselves love and compassion and forgiveness for their own healing and growing and maturing they had to do, you know? And they've offered it to people in their past so that they can get out of being in their ego nature and defensive nature to be loving and nurturing and supportive to themselves and other people. I don't like the past and other things in my life that didn't work out the way I wanted. I don't want to let those things keep manipulating me. I'm going to offer love and compassion and forgiveness, that everybody's on this journey. Everybody has their philosophy of life. Some people never aligned with truth and love, and they were stubborn, bossy, prideful, egotistical, materialistic, self-indulgent people. Okay? I'm not going to let someone who's like that stop me from believing in my dreams. Do I kind of feel betrayed and hurt? Yes, because they were someone, you know, that I could have been in some type of foundation with, and I wanted them to be more just and fair and loving and stable and grounded, but they weren't. They lacked self-insight. And so they acted the way they acted. Well, I'm not going to keep staying betrayed because I dealt with some people who didn't free themselves from things that manipulated them. I still have hope and faith and belief in my dreams. I've done this work within myself to accept that everyone is where they're at. And I've learned if I meet people like that again, oh, wow, they seem bossy, or they seem controlling, or they seem egotistical, or immature, or more driven by an addiction or materialism is the most important thing in their life. Defensive, haven't healed. Yeah, from now on, I'm going to wish those people peace. I'm going to keep my distance. I can be a social acquaintances with them, know them at work together with them at work, whatever, have them in my family, in my community, but they're not going to be the people that I'm going to invest a lot of my time, energy, and effort into, because I've already worked with people who are like that. And so long as whatever it is that manipulates them to make them act that way and view life that way, we view life differently. And a house divided can't stand. We have to be operating from the same foundation. We both have to have freed ourselves from to be on the same page. We have to have worked through some of the same life lessons and healed and grown and matured ourselves to kind of similar degrees to be able to kind of work together, being more on the same page. So high vibe people have they've gotten detached from their more egoic nature and are aligned with their more hopeful, believing, loving nature, and they were willing to cut out some people in their life who in shadowy Leo energy, they could have just felt were kind of maybe more manipulative. They could have felt were hurtful or unkind, were emotionally cold or defensive, just not seeing enlightened to the truth. And that's why some people aren't going to move forward with you in your life, because then they would have to stand up for what they believe in. And some people aren't willing to speak their truth. If they could kind of know the truth within themselves of how they'd like to go live their life, but then we have these different people in our life, the people in our life who are aligned with our more high vibe energy, and the people in our life who are aligned with our more shadowy nature and want us to be in our more shadowy nature, might try to manipulate and control us. in family groups, in friend groups, in work groups. And some people aren't willing to speak their truth yet. And, everybody's ready to speak their truth and stand up for themselves and say, I feel maybe betrayed, or I feel like what drives and motivates you, your dream in Aquarius energy is different than my dream. Your truth is different than my truth. What drives and motivates you is different. I feel like you're being manipulative. Until people are willing to stand up for themselves, they might keep trying to get other people to change. No, no, no. I'm sure I can make this person change. I am going to keep defending them. I am not willing to illuminate the truth yet, or give up on this, or deal with the truth of it yet. And we've all been there. We'll all keep putting work and effort into certain situations until kind of like we can't stay in denial of the truth anymore. Then we have the Ace of Pentacles, the World, and the Eight of Swords. So, we'll all kind of stay in denial of the truth because we would like those jobs, friendships, and relationships to end, or to work out the way we want. We want the other people to learn lessons in life. Virgo energy is about going within to get that pentacle, that truth. We go within to look at the things we'd rather keep hidden in the dark. We hope other people go within to look at the things that they haven't wanted to look at. Their past pain, heartbreak, their ego, their stubbornness, their defensive nature, their immature nature. Seeing who manipulates them in their life, how the world kind of manipulates them, and their sense of worth and value or whatever, and how they think they need to present themselves in the world and act like. It's like, how about you live your authentic life from truth and love, and you go treat other people the way you like to be treated? It's like, well, no, I have to act like this, and I have to wear this, and I have to talk with these people, and I have to present myself a certain way. It's like, why? Why can't you just go get out of your ego and more worldly nature and just speak your truth? Treat other people the way you like to be treated. It isn't what you wear, it isn't what you drive, it isn't how much money you make, it isn't who you talk to, who you don't talk to. It's being authentic, and that's like high vibe Leo. I am being authentically loving myself. I am living my authentic life. And some people are like, I can't do that. I have to live more from my mind than my heart. This is like, I need these people to view me this way and these people to view me that way. And I need people to view me like a shining star. I have a certain image and status I need to maintain. It's like, let go of that idea. Where did that idea come from that you weren't supposed to be authentically yourself and just be authentic and loving and warm and giving and treat people the way you like to be treated and just live your more authentic life? Who said you had to do this and do that? Shadowy Hierophant Taurus energy can be all these unwritten rules in our head. Where did all those unwritten rules come from? Oh, you can't go there. You can't do that. You can only go there if these people are there. But if you were to go there and you were to be there, what would people say? You can only be there if these other people are there. Then it seems like it's okay. It's like, oh my gosh. High vibe energy is about being free to live your authentic life, being more independent of the world. And really some of it is just all this shit we tell ourselves. Nobody else really gives a damn. You go live your life, they're living their life. And then there are the people who are like, you should do this and you should do that. And you shouldn't, go judge someone else. Bye. High vibe people have seen the truth. That life is about learning lessons. That's what the World card talks about. That we go through a phase of life to learn these lessons, to help us see the things that we need to let go of, get more. We all have a philosophy of life, just like we did age 18, 21, 25. We live our life at that phase of life, and it's trying to show us, help us get more clear about what our truth is and what our truth isn't. Have we learned to love ourselves? No, we're going to keep living life a certain way. Until we look at life from a higher perspective and put life in perspective, we could always get caught up in our mind, in our fear, in our insecurity, looking to other people to love us, to validate our worth and value. No, you are supposed to let go of that, and you are supposed to love and validate your worth and value. You are supposed to heal your foundation. But we can get up in our head like, well, no, not me. No, I need to look outside of myself. Other people are the answer to me healing my foundation. No, that is not true. Can we enjoy and want loving, supportive, encouraging people in our life? Yes. Is that the answer to our problems? No. Until we do the work within our own foundation of self to deal with all these rules and regulations we have in our head. Who put all these thoughts in our head? From the Eight of Swords to the One Sword, in between here, it's kind of like the Queen of Swords, Aquarius energy and Leo energy confuses and manipulates us and deceives us. Our life is not to be about our ego and our image and making the most important thing in our life us. It's supposed to be all about me. Why aren't people making life all about me? Or so much about looking like a shining star in the world. That's the most important thing. I need to have a certain image and status and blah, 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 blah. It's like, no. It's about loving yourself to see the truth. To let go of some of the past pain and heartbreak and the self-limiting beliefs to shine your authentic light in the world. To do this work within yourself, to love and believe in yourself. So your shadowy nature isn't in the driver's seat of your life, but your more loving, hopeful, believing, encouraging nature is in the driver's seat of your life. And then you treat yourself that way. It's like the difference between having a harsh, critical inner voice, being a bad, like, mom and dad to yourself, or being a loving, nurturing, supportive, encouraging voice in your own head, and being like your own best mother, father, coach voice to yourself. We all thrive best in the energy of love, being in environments that are loving and encouraging and supportive and compassionate and empathetic. We've all got lessons learned. We've all made mistakes. We've all dealt with people who are stubborn, prideful, bossy, controlling, manipulative, hurtful, unkind, belittling and berating. Well, we can't control the outside world. The only thing we really ultimately can control is ourselves. And are we going to be a loving, nurturing, supportive within ourselves or not? You get in a relationship with someone who does have that harsh, critical inner voice, eventually that harsh, critical inner voice is coming out. If they've got a negative voice within themselves and they kind of belittle and berate themselves, and you've got to do this, and you have to act like this, and you have to look like this, and you have to... they can end up being very harsh and critical to other people in their life because, boy, if they got that going on in their head, why aren't you manipulated by that too? I was like, because that isn't how I think and feel, and I, worked through that, and maybe I didn't have people in my life that were acted like that in my life, and I could have had my own types of people in my life, and I saw the truth of who they were and how they acted, and their philosophy of life I let go of. Some other, tower moment. It's like when things fall down. I let go of making other people's ideas of how to live life, what was just and fair, what is the right way, the wrong way, emotionally fulfilling, whatever. We all have our own ideas and things that we like to invest our time, energy, and effort into that we find emotionally fulfilling, is our dream. Your siblings, your friends, their dream and the idea of the dream life and how they view life and how they want to live life and what they find emotionally fulfilling, we're all different. We're all unique. And as I was growing up, I have my own dream, and my dream can be different than their dream, and how, it's like high vibe energy is listening to a higher truth and justice. Some people do make their life all about the world. Some people do make their life all about their ego and their image and money and status or self-indulgence or being all about themselves. That's not my truth. And I found it, I saw that truth when I did have to be in a relationship with those people, in a family, in a workplace, in a friendship group. And I just didn't take it personally. Some people can have people who turn their back to them, and they're kind of in their ego about it. If they think that person has a certain status or image, again, it can be more superficial. Some people are like bound and determined, I want to be part of that crowd. Why are they so damn determined to want to be a part of that crowd? Well, I guess if they think those people kind of look like shining stars in a way, and they think that would say something about their image, they really should look at why, And is that why we want to be in relationships with certain people? Well, you have a certain status and image, and I want that status and image. You like the cool. I view you as the cool kid club. I want to be part of that club. Well, that can all be superficial and shallow. But again, that's what some people are driven by, and other people are like, hell no, I don't want to hang out with those people. They act like these certain type of people, but they're not operating from a foundation of love and justice and fairness. Other people, though, that is what drives and motivates them, and they really want to be a part of it. Some people could have been moving forward in something new where they could have moved forward and had a new beginning, but they're so caught up in maybe the reason why some people really want to be in relationships with people that are kind of ugly in the world in a way and how they act is because that really, it's people who aren't doing love. I'd rather hang out with the people not doing love than the people doing love, because I would have to learn to love myself, and I'd have to work through some of my issues that deceive and manipulate me. And I don't want to do that work, so I'd rather just hang around people that have a certain status and image, and where they don't require that of me. Other people, I think we can be drawn and attracted to people because we have some unresolved pain and heartbreak. They could remind us of people in our life. I kind of think more at a subconscious level. Say somebody did grow up with someone who is kind of harsh and critical and stubborn and all this stuff, and then they go out in the world and it's like, oh my God, like I hated that person, or didn't like them, and I'm never going to go out with someone like that. Just like somebody could grow up with an alcoholic or a drug addict or something, and it's like, I'm never going to go out with someone like that. And then they get in relationships with people who are like that. And it's kind of because there was lessons to be learned from that phase of life that we haven't worked through yet, and it causes us this mental confusion. And it could be that, again, we felt rejected, and why didn't those people work with me cooperatively? Why didn't those people love me? So we're kind of making it like as if it's a rejection of us, and we're still kind of in our ego about it. And so then we're trying to get people who could remind us of other people. Like this time, though, you're not my parent, or you're not that boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever, or that social group. you're someone I can get in a relationship now. And now that if I am able to actually be in a relationship with you, like a romantic relationship, then you'll see like how wonderful and nurturing and loving, and I'm sure you'll choose love, and this time I will win. It's kind of that thing that when we were younger, things didn't turn out the way we want. You know, we didn't win in a way, and it didn't work out the way we wanted, and it's like an incomplete cycle. Well, then, kind of, if we do get in relationships with people who remind us subconsciously, and that can be the tower moment when it's like, oh my gosh, I was not seeing it. I did not realize that you remind me of my mom or my dad or whatever. And being in that relationship with someone who we really could be in like a romantic relationship with, and we thought if we put in work and effort to heal and grow and mature ourselves, and we thought they would put in work and effort to heal and grow and mature themselves, and that would free us, close out that chapter in our life in the world card, and we could move forward. The thing is, when we kind of get in those relationships, those people are the way they are, we're the way we are. We put in this work and effort trying to get other people to see the truth, to get out of their more defensive nature, egoic nature, defensive nature, to look at life from a higher perspective, to invest in love, and they don't. And when we're in that process, it makes us go through this process. Why would I stay in a relationship with someone like this? If this person is being stubborn, isn't working together with me, isn't being truthful, is being defensive, is something I didn't think they were, is more about the world than love, I have to deal with my own of feeling rejected by it. And also, if somebody's acting like that, why do I want to stay in a relationship with them? And it is learning these lessons that I can love people and wish them peace and move on. Because if they're, it's kind of, this world, everybody's got their philosophy. We could all like things, and for people to follow the rules, or for people to grow up, or for people to mature. Everybody's on their own little journey, and our thing is, it's kind of like the puzzle board of life gets shaken every once in a while, because we really need to just be in the relationships with the people who are more on the same page as us. And when we see that some people aren't on the same page as us, we could have been at one time. There's no guarantee when people are going to kind of drive their life off into the ditch and get caught up in pride, ego, defensiveness, lust, greed, immaturity, laziness, whatever. And that's kind of a puzzle board shakeup where we need to deal with the truth, or we stay in denial of the truth. The truth sets us free. Oh, damn, that didn't work out. I'm not going to be in my ego about it, because it is so complex, and what people are driven, what kind of subconsciously drives and motivates people. We can offer people truth and love and encouragement. Am I going to keep staying in a foundation with you that's unstable, unsafe, unjust, unfair, imbalanced? No. I'm going to move forward with truth in the world, letting love and intuition guide me. And then we have the Two of Pentacles, which can be about, I'm going to pick up my investment in this and maintain balance within myself, because I'm not going to indulge people who are in poor behavior. If they want to keep living their life like that, well, then I just more clearly see the truth that this is over. And maybe it is because in the Two of Pentacles, there's things they need to lift up their investment in and get more balance within themselves about, and they're not willing to do that. If they're more about the world, and the world manipulates them, you have to look like this, you have to act like this, They have all these unwritten rules, and they're not willing to get down to the truth of it, or they're not willing to speak their truth or stand up for themselves. Well, they're going to have all these things within themselves and people in their life that can manipulate and control them. Until you're willing to speak your truth and get out of your ego and being manipulated by your own shadow nature and maybe other people in more worldly shadowy energy, and see how it kind of manipulates and controls you and keeps you from investing in your own loving nature and other people in your life who are more loving. Well, until you see the truth of it, I'm going to pick up my investment in you. And if that's who you want to align with within yourself, but I'm aligned with my more hopeful, believing, loving nature, but you're not. So I'm going to go wish you peace, let you go live your life. Maybe I've already been there and lived life more like that than you have. And I have more experience maybe at not putting up with people trying to manipulate me or control me, and I maybe never, if I was someone who is, which I think, all through kind of like junior high and high school and those initial years of our life, we're kind of really caught up in the world and making our life about thinking it's more like if I present myself a certain way and it's kind of living more from our mind than our heart, people will view me a certain way, people will want to be my friend, and really it's like I'm just going to go live my authentic life, and it's not like a mental strategy. I'm just going to go out in the world, treat people the way I like to be treated, be friendly, be kind, be warm, be respectful, and either people are kind of on that same page and receptive to it, or they're not. But when we were younger, and even some people are quite older, are still living their life like that. Some people never live their more authentic life. It is always kind of wearing a false mask and kind of trying to appease people. And high vibe people aren't being rude or dismissive or unkind. They're treating people with love and respect. And we've all been more immature, fearful, insecure. It's not to belittle and berate anyone. It's just, I wish you peace. I'm going to treat you like I like to be treated. And if I kind of see that kind of the way we view life and what drives and motivates us, we're not on the same page. Yeah, I can relate. I've been there too. You go enjoy yourself, and I'm going to keep moving on, and, but other people just, the thought of not living from their mind and this whole thing of trying to manipulate and control people and present the certain image in the world, they got a lot of life lessons to learn, maybe, to quit doing that. And a process of loving yourself and becoming yourself and getting more balance. It's like people trying to present the fact like as if they don't have a shadow nature. This other card said, embrace the light and the dark. Some people try to present themselves in the world like, I don't have a shadow nature. I'm not prideful or materialistic or lustful or greedy ever. Not since I was born. Other people acknowledge they have a shadow nature and they try to temper it. They work to keep it tempered, like in the back seat. Other people are willing to get out of their ego and admit, I had lessons to learn. I could have been hurtful and unkind. I could have been defensive to people. I could have been caught up in myself, caught up in the world, whatever. You have to get out of your ego to admit, I even have lessons to learn, and I'm a fallible human being who makes mistakes. Some people are unwilling to admit that they made mistakes, unwilling to get out of their ego. I refuse to get out of my ego and look at life from a higher perspective. Some people are full of themselves. No, I am this picture-perfect person. Even if they do immature things that disrupt a foundation, probably in their mind, they justify it. Other people didn't agree that it was justified, and people felt betrayed. And people closed out relationships with them, and they're like, damn, I thought I could do this and because they maybe don't love and believe in themselves, or I know they love me, I never thought they would leave and pick up their investment in me. Now I have to try to confuse people about the truth, about why that relationship didn't work out. I need to put another coat of paint on to present this illusion, and the more they keep, eventually other people see the truth. They might want to keep staying in denial of the truth. More people kind of see the truth. They can keep trying to confuse people about the truth. People see the truth. People move on. And it's kind of, like God's trying to tell them, you need to grow up. You need to, if you don't want this to keep happening, you need to get out. See what it is that you're doing that is sabotaging yourself and your relationships. It's not, and some people, they do hurtful, unkind things, and then they think, oh shit, that didn't work out. I have an idea. I'll just go get in a new relationship. Or because I have a lot of fears and insecurities, instead of dealing with them, I'll just go get in a relationship. And some people look to a relationship like other people look to drugs and alcohol to be the answer to their problems. So I think there's some people in their Virgo energy that high vibe people are willing to speak the truth, see the truth, get out of their ego, accept that people are where they're at, that they were where they were at, offer them self-love and compassion and forgiveness, and see who in their life is more aligned with their truth, and those are the people they're going to invest in. Not going to be up in their head with the world to the Eight of Swords. I'm not going to be up in my head about people in my life who aren't being in a relationship with me, want to be deceptive or manipulative, caught up in themselves or the illusion of the world. I wish you peace. I'm moving on. I'm going to go invest in the people who are in my life, the people who I think are on the same page. I'm going to get out of my ego, and I'm going to tell the people in my life who I think are on the same page as me that I want to be in a relationship with them and work things out with them, be friends with them, whatever it is. And the people who I've seen the truth, maybe over and over, that isn't their truth. Or if I communicated my truth in love and they're not coming towards me and speaking their truth and investing in me, well, they're either in their own high vibrational relationship, moving forward with those people, wish you peace, or maybe they're not really on the same page like I thought they were. So then I wish them peace. Either way, I can only work with people who are willing to work together with me in a cooperatively balanced, truthful, authentic, loving way. And if that's not you, then that's not you. And I believe that the divine has a plan for my life, and I'm not the boss. And I have to go with the flow of life. What's coming up for people who harness some high vibe Virgo energy that they might not see coming? The Page of Pentacles. Why? Because of the Star card. So the Page of Pentacles is willing to be a student of life. I see the truth that everybody's on their own journey of learning lessons, got their issues that they have dealt with, haven't dealt with. I am willing to be like a loving spiritual advisor. That's high vibe Taurus as being like a spiritual advisor in the world. I'm going to be a good spiritual advisor to my own inner child nature. And then high vibe Taurus is also about walking the talk. High vibe Virgo is taking slow, steady steps. You might go 3 steps forward, 2 steps back, 3 steps forward, 2 steps back. But eventually you'll end up further over in the direction that you want to go in. And offering truth and love to your own inner child nature, to have hope and faith and belief in your dreams. To not get up in your head and your fear and your insecurity, and other people might purposely not be working with you because they're trying to manipulate you and get you up in your head and your fear and your insecurity, hoping you'll give up being balanced and indulge them in a relationship because you think your dreams can't come into reality with them. Your dreams can't come into reality with them being in shadowy energy. So it's that hopeful, believing spirit. Apparently God has something else planned for me because I've already seen the truth that you're not on the same page as me. So apparently my dream can't come into reality with you anyway. So I need to close out, take the lessons I've learned from this life experience and take those lessons with me as I move forward. And I'm still going to have that hopeful, believing spirit. You didn't make me give up on believing in my dreams. I still believe in my dreams. And that's the thing with some of these people is they already gave up on their dreams. And because other people in their life were hurtful and unkind or unjust or unfair, bossy, controlling, they joined Team B and decided, boy, if there's going to be someone in the world that's going to try to manipulate and control loving people, I'm not going to be the loving person who gets manipulated and controlled. I don't trust anybody anymore. Now I'm going to be the one to try to take advantage of loving people. They're suckers. And the loving people are like, I might be kind of naive and gullible and have hope and faith and belief and love. I don't think that makes me a sucker because I'm proud of how I conducted myself in a relationship. Unlike you. And I can take my goodwill nature with me. You're going to take your ego and your fear and your insecurity and your lies and your defensiveness with you to the next relationship. I'm going to take truth and hope and faith and belief and love to my next relationship. And I think as you move forward in that energy, other people are going to see that energy about you. You're not trying to manipulate and deceive and control people, tempt people in their more worldly nature. And there's going to be other people who want to be in a relationship with you. And some of the shadowy people have tried again to maybe get in a relationship with someone who's a more hopeful, believing, loving nature, because that kind of makes them look like they're that type of person too. And some of those people are at that point in the relationship where the people they're in a relationship with were either really bringing this dream into reality and you need to get out of your head and do align with love, or this is over. And some of those people are like, oh, I gotta go find someone else to go present myself to. Some of those people will try to come back to people they've already gotten out of relationships, thinking that you're still in your ego and feel betrayed by them. And they're not seeing things clearly. No, I already saw the truth of you. And, you know, if you haven't healed and grown and matured yourself and looked at life from a higher perspective and speaking the truth and acting in truth and all that, I'm not interested in being in a relationship or a friendship with you again or working back at this company. What's coming up for the more worldly, shadowy Pisces or Virgo energies that they might not see coming? The Nine of Pentacles, the King of Cups, the Eight of Cups, the Queen of Cups. Why? Because of the Nine of Swords. We kind of had people that wanted to maybe work on relationships here to bring a dream into reality, trying to work through and navigate all those different things within ourselves that we have to add in relationships. But then we ended with the Eight of Swords, and now we're at the Nine of Swords. You know, we can all be in friendships and relationships for a long period of time, because we do have initially, oh yeah, you know, we can have a lot of things in common. We can have a lot of similar views in life. We could have similar things that we enjoy doing. We could be attracted to each other, you know, but then that's like, we let go of one idea, like a choice, to get in a relationship with that person. So then we let go of another choice, and we're looking forward to create this dream, and we're investing in working through all these different things that we need to kind of work through in a relationship as it progresses. But eventually, in the Nine of Swords, it gets to be where it kind of is that last thing to overcome. What is your truth? If from the 9 to the 10, if people were to do the last thing, they would close out an old cycle and they'd be able to give birth to something new. But people let go of kind of maybe being more independent, letting love and intuition guide them, again, to be more emotionally independent from being more about themselves or wearing their false mask and choosing love and to be in a deep, meaningful relationship. And they get up in their head about that. Do I believe in love? Do I trust love? I can get hurt if I do love. And then those people decide to end that. No, this just causes me too much stress and anxiety. I'm going to go back and I'm going to go repeat this pattern with someone else. Some people just don't have hope and faith and belief in themselves. Some people aren't willing to stand up for what they believe in. Some people are afraid of love. And because of that, other people in their life realize that I can keep trying to get someone to get out of their fears and insecurities or self-limiting beliefs, or I can say, you know what, we've been here enough times trying to get over this last hurdle of maybe just getting more balance within yourself, because shadowy energy can be where people are kind of tipped out of balance, where in their defensive nature, in their worldly nature, don't want to have to be more balanced and see the truth that it is supposed to be about loving yourself and treating other people the way you like to be treated. And it's like, I have a problem and a fear about all of that. And eventually they're going to have high vibe people in their life that say, I wish you peace. If you want to make your life more about the world, and shadowy king energy can be male or female, but they kind of like to operate, it can be operating more from their ego than really being connected in with their more emotionally intuitive nature. And the people in their life that have been trying to love and encourage them to be in that kind of deep, meaningful relationship with them, eventually they see the dream isn't going to come into reality because the other people are defensive to really being more authentic and loving in a relationship. They'd have to get out of their head and their fear and their defensiveness to trust other people and to believe that, I don't know, that if something didn't work out, they could pick themselves back up. But maybe they don't believe they could pick themselves back up. Maybe it would really feel like it would really destabilize them. And some people have to go through more life experiences to feel like, you know, if I were to do love, I do feel like I could pick myself up. But because some people aren't able to, it's just all really personal to them, instead of seeing that people are where they're at. There's no guarantees in life. And some people, I would rather be in a relationship that's more superficial and shallow with someone who might be more fearful or afraid or codependent, even if they're cold, even if they're bossy, even if they're egotistical. If they're willing to stay in a relationship with me and it looks like I have what other people have, and I look like I'm like victorious and successful in the world, I would rather be in a relationship with someone in those type of conditions than where I really am not putting my heart on the line to get hurt. Because for some people, that's the most important thing. It's kind of like in their shadow foundation, we do not let the truth in. We are defensive to the truth and getting out of our fear and insecurity to let our more authentic inner child, hopeful, believing nature out to play in the world. We do not let them play in the world. And that's probably the type of relationship eventually, if someone is willing to stay in a relationship with them, I view the Queen of Cups can be where people emotionally are attached to kind of an old way of living life in a shadowy energy, and they're repeating old cycles. So if they can find someone who has their own fears and insecurities about loving and believing in themselves, or being more authentically themselves in the world, might be more driven to, I'm single, I want to be in a relationship. You want to be in a relationship? Okay, I'll get in a relationship with you. Would it make it look like I've moved forward and given birth to something new in the world? Perfect. Would it make it look like I'm in something stable and secure, even though I might be hiding the truth? But if it's good for my ego and my image and all those good things, yeah, I'll stay in it. We both might be really stressed out. We both might want to not be in it because it's not based on love. But if neither one of us is willing to love and believe in ourselves to give birth to something new, then we'll keep staying in it. It's like a mutually codependent relationship. Maybe more out of fear of being more independent. And so they stay in a relationship for those reasons. And theirs will kind of look like what other people's lives and relationships look like. But it's more, this makes practical, logical sense. This keeps me safe. I don't want to do love. I get hurt doing love. I'm defensive to love. Let's be in a relationship and have this new beginning because it looks like we have what other people have. It looks like we've changed. It looks like we've healed. It looks like we've grown and matured ourselves. So they're basically repeating an old pattern just with different people, different faces, like people going getting new jobs, hiring new people. But if the boss at the old job is a pill, this same scenario with the high vibe people is going to play out again. Those people are going to leave. And some of the people who've been repeating some old patterns, they're going to have some high vibe people in their life that distance themselves from them. And the people who might keep indulging them in their shadowy ways of being might be people who are afraid of being more codependent. Other people are moving on to go find people who are more on the same page as them. But they're not going to repeat a past cycle. They've learned lessons from that cycle. They're not the same person they were before. The other people are the same people with just a different coat of paint on. So there you go, Virgo. I wish you peace, love, and joy, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.